welcome to Planet Marzipan Podcast,
your fish and Marillion podcast,
where we talk about all things in the planet of Marillion and fish. I'm Meza, and here's my mate,
Craig Houston.
Hello and welcome to Planet Marzipan. I'm Meza. I'm here with my good friend,
Craig. Not Faye yet. I know you want Faye back. She's coming back, but not yet.
Okay.
She's still drying out.
This evening, was she?
No, she's still drying out.
Okay. Well, as you can tell from the title of the episode, we're here to discuss How We Live's one and only album, Dry Land. And we've got some friends around to help us do that. We welcome back to the podcast, Lucy Jordache.
Hello.
We welcome back to the podcast, Seamus Colgan.
How's it going?
Hi, Seamus. You well?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. We welcome back friend of the pod. He needs a badge, Craig.
He does.
James Levey.
Good evening, all.
Good evening. And we have two newbies on the pod. We welcome for the first time Paul McMillan.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Paul. Welcome. And
another friend of the pod.
Because we're talking about how we live, we've got the expert who wasn't in the band, the only one that wasn't in the band. We welcome Tim Glasswell.
Hello.
Hi,
Thanks for
Tim.
having me on.
Hey.
And Tim runs a website called The Rainbow Room, and it's a Europeans and How We Live website, which we'll give another plug for later on. He's very knowledgeable about this stuff. So I must admit, I'm fairly late coming to this album. I only bought it when Racket reissued it. It was issued originally in January 1987. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of these facts, Tim. There isn't a Wikipedia entry for the album, but there is one for How We Live. And it says, How We Live were an English pop duo active in the mid to late 80s. The band was a project between singer-keyboard player Steve Hogarth and guitarist Colin Woore, who both previously had been members of the new wave band The Europeans. How We Live released one album, Dry Land, in 1987, but it failed to meet with commercial success, and the 4 singles released from the album failed to chart. Although the album has had 2 CD reissues with different extra tracks, the 12-inch remix of Working Girl is still only available on vinyl. The band subsequently split, and Hogarth would go on to replace Fish as Marillion's vocalist in 1989. Marillion covered the title track Dry Land on their 1991 album Holidays in Eden, and it was released as the 3rd single from the album. The verse melody of an unreleased How We Live song called Simon's Car was used for Cover My Eyes, the 1st single from Holidays in Eden. Tip, yes.
Well read.
Just read it out, folks. Just read it out.
Correct, yeah.
In a Yorkshire accent.
Hey up.
Tim, was anybody else aware of How We Live before H joined Marillion?
Me.
Had you seen him, Lucy?
Lucy was. Let's start with Lucy.
Yeah.
So, really embarrassing. Had a boyfriend who, weirdly enough, was also called Ian. How weird is that?
Oh.
And he really liked Christopher. And I said, I agreed to go with him to Wembley Arena to see Christopher. And no. But the support acts were How We Live. And I was like, well, they're jolly good. And I went and bought the album, and I've got the cassette single of Working Town and stuff. And
Brilliant.
I thought they were jolly good. Then put it on my shelf and never thought about it again until the day I, read in Kerrang that Steve Hogarth from How We Live was joining blah, blah, blah. And I thought, I've seen that name before. Went through my CD collection and went, ta-da! So there you go.
Great. And Tim, you were a fan at the time. Were you a fan of Europeans at the time, or did you come to it afterwards?
Well, I'm only a nipper, so I
Okay.
wasn't old enough. So
Apologies, you need to clean your camera. Sorry, no.
I was born in 76, so I was a bit young for it at the time. So my way in through it was through Marillion.
Right, okay.
And we'll get to all that another time. But in terms of How We Live, I mean, Europeans were a thing. Europeans were a well-known band around London and Europe. They'd play all over the country. So they were a well-known band. And when they did split in 85, And again, there's a very long story all about how that happened, which we won't go into. But I think even the Europeans fans quite often missed out on it. So there was a fan in Holland called Inga that I met at the H-band shows in year 2000 when Colin Woore got up on stage and the Spirit Body album. And she was a lifelong Europeans fan. And she actually met up with Steve and Colin in London, which is that really good photo of, I think it's in the Season's End book, of Steve and Colin. I think Steve's got some flowers because she found out that Steve was pregnant and had given him a little present. But she, as a lifelong Europeans fan, even she didn't really know about how we live. So I think as Europeans kind of went, the machine of telling people that how we live was the new Europeans didn't really happen so much. And there's a few ads here and there which will say featuring ex-Europeans, or this is the band that was the Europeans, which is only half true. But they were pretty much under the radar, weren't they? So I don't think it was really. I mean, the Chris de Burgh tour was obviously a big thing. A lot. They'd have got more exposure doing that than with anything else they did. But even Steve himself had said the album and the promotion of the singles, it kind of just sneaked out. It was never really given the big promotion that it needed. And I was reading the liner notes of the Cherry Red reissue, and one of the suggestions was they were with CBS, and that they'd put all their eggs in the basket of Deacon Blue, and put all their efforts into getting them going, and that obviously worked. So maybe the bands further down the roster really didn't get a look in.
Yeah. That happens a lot at record companies, speaking as someone who used to work at a record company.
It's quite an interesting article in the esoteric reissue, isn't it? It does. Who's it by? I can't remember. It does give you a fairly potted history. It's Malcolm Dome, but it talks about the band were originally going to be called Jump the Gun. Is that right?
Yes, I've got a demo tape here somewhere that actually says the Hogarth Woore demo selection, and it says Jump the Gun on it. I sent a picture of it before. So yeah, that's the band name that they were signed under. The other name that Steve said that he wanted to use was the Stimulus Brothers, which I think would have been great.
It sounds like something that Ed Edmondson would be in, doesn't it? With Rick Mayall, yeah.
Written by Ben Elton.
just to mention the other guys, then where did you first hear about this album? James, where did you first hear about it?
I'm the same as you, John. I heard it when Racket released it in 2000.
Yeah,
I'd not really. I'd had heard a little bit of the Europeans when I got into Marillion in sort of the mid 90s, but didn't know anything about How We Live until the Racket release came out, and I bought it.
Yeah. Paul?
Very similar story to that. I mean, obviously, I remember the Stoke Row to Ipanema, and I had a picture of that album in there, and then they obviously talked about it right up to the point where Steve mentions that he handed it over to CBS. Went looking for it, couldn't find it anywhere, and then obviously it was around the point of the reissue of it via Racket Records, and I remember Tim, you quite rightly pointed out that it was Dingwalls that night when both Colin got on stage with Steve and they did Working Town. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that was sort of, and soon after that, I went out and bought it.
Yeah, brilliant. Seamus?
Well, as you know, I'm a fairly new Marillion fan.
Yeah.
And since lockdown, and I got all the records. I bought all these in the last 6 months. So How We Live, the Europeans Live, the second studio album, the first studio album. So I've really been digging into the albums in the last kind of 6 months, 4 months, so something like that. So I got that's as far as my history with the band
I
goes.
didn't know you're so new.
Oh, he is, yeah.
Yeah. I'm Lucy. I was a fan. I bought Holidays in Eden and Season's End before that, and then I got lost.
Disappeared.
I disappeared, yes. And then in lockdown, I discovered Marillion on YouTube.
Oh, well, Well done.
Welcome back.
Watching Gemmis's videos on YouTube said, you know, you should watch this one as well. And it was Easter at the Royal Albert Hall. And I cried.
Oh, well, I'm done now. That's it. I'm in.
Yeah, fine.
Job done.
Job
Craig, I
that's it.
suppose you're the same as the rest of us. You kind of heard this album when it came out on Racket.
Just before, about a year or two beforehand, a certain, I shall anonymise his name by calling him Kennedy Mark.
Yes.
He did a CD rip of the vinyl way back when, because we had a Kiki Boys alleged version of it on CD, which he'd actually got a 15-minute interview with the band that he'd found as well.
It's on the promo tape, isn't it? I think.
Yeah,
I think
right.
on the end there. So
Yeah.
we had a version of it, and I dug the CD out, but it's not work. It doesn't work anymore. It's so old, and it's an old CDR from like 26 years ago or something like that.
I've got a Europeans Live CDR that somebody did for me years ago. That won't read either.
Yeah, yeah, but I got it. I got it when the Racket version came out back in like 2001, and played it to death because it's a corking little album.
Okay. Should we talk about it in depth then? Should we talk about the music?
Yeah, go on.
Track by track?
You.
Yeah.
Why not?
First track on the album, Working Girl. We'll start with Lucy.
Oh, is that because I'm a working girl?
I'm not going there because I'm not sure what type of working girl he's singing about.
Hang on one moment, caller. Just got to look at my notes that I made earlier.
John digs any further.
Yeah.
Working girl.
Yeah.
I put yes.
Okay, right. Well, it's going to be a brief one, folks, if this is how we're going.
Yeah, no, I've got thoughts on other ones, but that one was just yes from me. So it was like, I must have liked it, but that's it.
Tim, what do you make of the opening track?
So the origins of this one is that it was one of the last songs that the Europeans wrote and recorded in February '85. So
Right.
I looked at the date of that on this demo I found today. So this was after their last gig. So their last gig was at the Shaw Theatre in January '85. So they'd obviously gone and done some more demos after that to hawk around record companies to try and get a new deal for the Europeans, which never quite happened. But Working Girl was one of the songs that they did there. There were then another 2 demos of it. So the Europeans actually went in and recorded an extra, like a full studio version of it that hasn't been released, along with a song called Emotional Warfare, which is brilliant, which hopefully will see the light of day sometime. And then they demoed it
I'm interrupting. Have you got that song?
I have got that song.
You should absolutely send it to me.
James has the lot.
James has the lot.
Yes, James and I have been in touch over the last couple of years, haven't we?
Yeah.
Basically swapping archives and things. So
yeah, there's a lot of Europeans and How We Live stuff at Racket. So I can send you lots, Lucy.
A big hint for future.
Yeah.
Might be, might not be. But James, send me that.
Yeah.
That song that Tim
And
just
just blind copy us into it, James, if you would. That'd be great. Yeah.
So,
James, do you want my email address?
Sorry, Tim, you were cut off mid-flow.
Sorry, Tim.
So, yes, then they demoed it as How We Live as well. So then that was in one of the demos. And then the track on the album was recorded at Crescent Studios in Bath. And my wife is from Bath originally, so I've been down there. It's not a studio anymore, but every time I walk past it, I think of the albums that were recorded here. And I think it's a great opener. I've always loved it. I think it's a really great performance. I really like the drumming on it particularly. It's a good, catchy song. It was a single.
Manny Elias on this one, isn't it?
Exactly. The Tears for Fears drummer. He's brilliant on it. The bass is great. Tafe on the bass.
Tafe is... Well, weirdly, because we're recording this on the day that Dave Ball from Soft Cell has died.
Yes.
Tafe's name is Dave Ball, isn't it?
It is. That's correct.
That's why he's known as Tafe, to differentiate him from the guy in Soft Cell.
Yeah. So I think it's a great opener. What was I going to say about it? There's also on YouTube, you'll see there's a great live version of it from a gig that How We Live did in the summer of 1987. They played to like 100,000 people at a massive concert in Germany, one of the last gigs they did. Okay. And there's a live version of Working Girl, and it's brilliant. It's really good. The only other thing I would say, just to clear things up, the working girl element of it, it's apparently about a trucker.
Is
So
it?
there was a Europeans fan that drove trucking hell, that wrote saying she was a fan, and that inspired Steve to write this song.
Okay.
Thank you, Tim.
James, follow that.
I think I really like it. I think it sets the scene well for the album, because I think compared to the Europeans, it sort of sets that different. We are different. We're much more sort of, there's lush tones, sort of slower in, because the Europeans, when they started, very, very punky, very up tempo and stuff like that. The actual demo for this, and Tim will back me up on this one, was a lot slower and a lot more atmospheric. And so when they sort of got into the How We Live version at Crescent, I think it was at Crescent, wasn't it? That's what he mentioned at Bath Studios. It speeds it up, but I like it. It really highlights H's voice on this one. I think it's a good opener, and it's one of the songs I really like on the album.
Yeah. Paul?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, I actually thought there might have been another type of working girl, to be honest, when I actually first heard the lyric.
I was the same with you.
That says more about you two than anything else.
Yeah,
it?
Possibly. But to be honest with you, I mean, I kind of thought that, that kind of fits quite well with that sort of like light and shade of things that H is quite good at, like a collection, and, where it's quite a dark lyric in terms of that heading in that direction, but with a bright melody over the top. So that's what I kind of got from it. I still think it's a great opener. I love the bass in it as well.
Yeah, the fretless bass is amazing on that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seamus?
Yeah, I kind of agree with everybody else. It's a sophisticated, creative pop song, and it's got this beautiful chimey kind of background noise, and it's kind of floaty, and the bass groove is a killer. It really is.
Yeah.
I think it should have been a hit single, to be honest. It's got everything you want, or you would have wanted back
chorus,
then.
hasn't it? It's got the big uplift chorus in it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of Blue Nile, a little bit of Talk in there, I think.
Yeah.
It's a cracking start to the album. Yeah, nice one. Yeah.
Greg?
I'm with these guys, and I mean, I think what Seamus has said there, what it sounds like, I think you're spot on, and I'm with Paul completely. That I really thought it was like possibly about another kind of working girl, but I was trying to figure out whose perspective the song was from.
Yeah, there's a bit of that.
Case. Because you try to think, is it from her side? Is it from a husband's side who's like watching her go out tonight? But the truck driver thing completely makes sense. So,
yeah, it's totally changed my opinion as well.
It's completely changed my opinion, and it makes us feel a lot happier about the
just
song.
Picture
now.
her with a Yorkie bar now, don't you?
Well, definitely a Yorkie bar, but definitely not one of those pink ones where it says "not for girls," because that was rubbish marketing. But no, I think it's a top tune. It's very, very 80s. And it's a good opener.
Okay. Let's move on to track 2, which was the first single, I believe, Tim. I'm just looking at Tim.
And the first single was actually Working Town. So
was it?
Released that early in 86.
Right, okay.
And then, as you're about to say, All the Time in the World was the next one,
which
was actually released twice.
Yes.
So if you've seen
what's the 12-inch mix called? It's got a name.
I Don't Mind If You Don't Mind mix.
Thank you.
Which is one of the lines in there.
Yes. Lucy, what do you make of All the Time in the World?
I've written down by this one that I don't like it. I'm really sorry. Oh my God, look at the shocked faces. I'm sorry. I don't know why, because I haven't written a reason I don't like it, but I just don't like it. Sorry. Bye.
Okay. I'm going to mix it up slightly and come to the guys, and then we'll come to the men what no at the end. We've got more to say. So let's try Paul on All the Time in the World.
Interestingly, from the lyrical point of view, and I'd probably go there first when I look at these sort of things. It's kind of it felt to me like it's like almost someone's a closed door and they're trying to speak to them and getting them to try and open up. There's a bit of a theme of that actually as it runs through the album, because the next track obviously leads on to that as well with a similar type of thing. But yeah, it's I thought it was great. I mean, it's certainly it leans towards being a single. As soon as I'd heard the album, I thought this must have been a single release from it, and that's what I kind of got from it. Yeah.
Okay, Seamus.
Yeah, you can hear it was a single, and it's very, very commercial. It's very late '80s. We remember that time from our youth. Um, I got a vibe from the Lost Boys soundtrack out of it. It would have been perfect in one of those mid to late
Oh,
'80s
good point.
soundtracks.
Yeah,
It would have
yeah.
been. It would have been
Yeah,
great. It could
yeah.
have. It could have. There's a scene in the Lost Boys film where there's a guy playing a saxophone.
Yeah,
Big muscular,
On the
and
beach.
I've met him.
yeah, and I got that from it. It would have just been perfect. It's perfectly sorted into a soundtrack, and it would have been a hit, and it would have been huge in America. I love the throbbing bass line.
Well, it's a sequence base, isn't it? It's not. It's a
Yeah,
sequence, I think, isn't it?
I'm not a musician, but it's just
I'm
that
not either. I'm just
yeah,
my cloth here is just.
I got a little bit of a level 42 kind of vibe from that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's great, very extremely commercial. But even though it's very commercial, I liked it. I thought it was a good
Interestingly,
track. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
even though, yeah, good one. Another decent track. What track one was great. Track two was even better.
Cool. Craig?
Is this the one, and correct as if I'm wrong, that Fish reviewed on one of the chart show, the music channels back in the day? Because the video's up on YouTube.
Tim's nodding.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yes.
Sky TV with Gary Davis.
Yeah. So he reviewed it and he actually liked the single. So
I'm joking. I thought he was going to rip it apart.
No. This is where it's one of those funny little tweaks of fate. But yeah, it's very 80s track. It's a good commercial single. I don't know. It is a good pop song. I can see why it wasn't particularly a hit. It's got some good hooks to it, but it's not quite at the level that you would need for something to fly out. But I mean, it's got everything 80s in it, hasn't it? It's got, the sax and the kind of guitar solo stuff like that. It's a canny enough track, but it's not one of the strongest on the album, I don't think.
I disagree with you. I think it is one of the strongest on the album. I think it's a really commercial song. It's an incredible chorus. Stuck in my head all day today.
Go on, sing it.
No. I would kill it. And I'm recording, so I'm definitely not singing. But yeah, it's like you say, it's got everything you want. Sequence bass, sax solo, breaks down in the middle and comes back up again. Fantastic track. I think it's great. How it wasn't a hit, I'll never know. But if the record company didn't chuck anything after it, that's probably why. Tim, tell us a bit more about it.
Well, apparently Colin plays bass on it.
Does he?
So there are some other demos that I think James had sent over that had Colin playing some more kind. I think one of them might even have been called like Mark King funky style thing that you called it, James.
That's probably my
Yes.
title for it, right?
Because it's that kind of 80s slap bass thing.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with Craig here. I don't think it's one of the strongest on the album. What it smacks to me of is the record company saying we need a single. And as it sits with all the other stuff, it's obviously the more poppy out of all the tracks. And I think I prefer the less poppier ones, the more Steve ones, if you know what I mean, the more introspective ones.
Yeah, it's an album of two halves, isn't it? I think the songs fall into one of two categories. Like you said, there's more sort of Steve stuff like he's done since.
Yeah.
And then there's the real pop 80s track.
So for me, it kind of sits along with The Beaten Heart, the last track, where they're just kind of just a little bit more too obvious in terms of that funky, poppy 80s, let's write a single type thing.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not one of the strongest tracks on the album, but it sits well where it is, the second track. I mean, the record company were obviously behind it enough to release it twice. So, and it still didn't do it twice. And, there's a big glossy promo video for it, and Steve prancing around London in a frilly white shirt and all sorts of things. But
some things didn't change.
Yeah, first of many.
But yeah, I don't mind it, but I prefer some of the other tracks on the album.
Okay. James, what do you think of it?
I'm not going to leave Lucy out there because it's not one of my favourites at all.
Oh,
Okay.
Apart from the bass, I like the bass on it, but I think, yeah, as people have said, it's compared to the rest of the album, I think it's probably for me the weakest track. And I can, yeah, I can see why it was released as a single, because it is very commercial sounding and it's very 80s sounding, but that's, that's when it was released. But yeah, for me, no, not a big fan of it.
Let's move on then to something we all know. Track 3 is Dry Land. Lucy.
So I played it about 6 times in a row today, the whole album. And Dry Land, the first time I listened to it, because it had been a long time since I'd listened to it, so I thought, I'll play it. So I just had it on in the background while I was working. And the first time Dry Land popped up, I was like, oh no, it's too weird, I can't cope. And then I got my head round it, and I was like, oh no, it's still weird, but I love it because it's so similar.
Yeah.
That there's nothing. It's obviously missing for me, my husband on drums and the Marillion magic, but it's still just I love that song. So it's just like hearing a demo version of it to me. I just feel like it's a demo because it's H's voice and, jobs are good. And so, yeah, really like it.
Okay. Paul?
It's interesting what you're saying, like it being a demo. I actually noted when I put there seems to be a lot more space around this version. Obviously I think with the latter version of it coming, when it was re-recorded by Marillion, it's got keys and things that obviously like lift the whole song. I also think that Steve's vocals, they're almost it's like he's reserved a little bit. He's not fully going for it like we understand the version that came later.
Is that because he's not fighting against the whole noise of the
I
band?
think so, yeah. I think that is possibly it. But a couple of other notes that I made there was great work, great guitar work by Colin in this.
But do you not think that Rother's solo is kind of based on what Colin plays?
I think so, but when it moves away to that section, it's almost like individual styles, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
yeah. It's not exactly the same, but he seems to have taken sort of notes from it and
correct, yeah,
around it. Okay. Seamus, what do you make of it?
Okay, the vocals in the original version, I find them very fragile, very honest. Do you want to hear my honest opinion?
Sorry, this is the original version.
This is the original version compared to the Marillion version. I think the Marillion version is a cover version. It sounds very similar.
A cover version.
Yeah, but I know, but I mean, there's the whole essence of the song is already there completely.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah. One thing that really got me was the string arrangements.
Yeah, nice.
They are gorgeous. They are gorgeous. There's a string quartet and there's a violinist, and I enjoyed it. I honestly, I love the Marillion version, but discovering this version in the last 3 to 4 months, it's really, really nice. It's really lovely to have another version of the song that's different. Vocals are different. The arrangements are, as Paul said, they're a little bit more. There's more space in the song, but I really enjoy the real string arrangements in it, as opposed to the keys.
I'm sure I've read on your website, Tim, isn't there a quote from Colin when asked about what he thinks of the version? He says he misses the strings.
Exactly, that was the one sentence. Yeah, I missed it. Good, but I missed the real strings.
Quite diplomatic.
Yes.
Yeah. No. It is the strings that change it. It's the one thing. It kind of like some brilliant songs when they're performed with the string quartet and with their friends. They're improved. Some are not improved. Some are different. But
have they never done Dry Land with the quartet?
Maybe soon. It's nice. It's a nice.
It's putting a wish list in now. Though.
Yeah. I've noted.
No, I thought it was a pleasant surprise to hear a different version of the song and just to have this different vibe to it.
Okay.
And I honestly enjoyed H's vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Craig?
Nice one.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you guys. I do feel it as being like a demo version that's not quite finished. I think it's because it's a more delicate version of it, and we know what it became a few years later. I think the strings on it really make this version, but I just absolutely love the version from Holidays in Eden with that solo with Rothers and the whole I'd say it's probably a bit more of a confident version. Um, but there's space for both,
Okay.
and there's definitely space for both.
I like it. It's a bit, it's slower, isn't it? It's slower in
Slightly,
pace,
just
and
slightly.
that's noticeable. And also, am I right in thinking that H sings the line, I can't leave you out at sea, whereas on Marillion's version, he sings, I can't leave you all out at sea.
All out at sea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just misses a beat
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
or adds a
That
beat.
caught me out a little bit, yeah, if I'm honest. When I
Two
was singing
different
it.
meanings.
Well, yes,
There
maybe. It's that truck driver
is.
again, isn't it?
No, there is two different meanings.
It is, yeah.
All out at sea or out at sea.
Tim, what do you make of this version?
Well, I grew up loving the Marillion one, so that was my start. So to hear it this one obviously did sound like a demo, and yeah, I agree with everybody. It sounds spacious, maybe a little more underproduced, apart from maybe the string section on it. But what I was thinking today was, considering it was the title track, I was always, well, not always surprised. I was only thinking today that it might have been a good single. It might have been a better single than Games in Germany or Work in Town,
Yeah,
perhaps.
yeah,
Because it's got the hook, hasn't it? And that intro guitar bit is just beautiful. I think Steve quite often says that's one of Colin's crowning moments is that guitar riff, and that was one of the original riffs that Steve and Colin had worked on in late '84 with the Europeans as they were starting to split. And I also believe when they did kind of split into two separate camps at the end of the Euros with Steve and Colin and Jeff and Ferg, when they were kind of touting around for a new record contract for the Europeans, Dryland was one of the songs that Stephen and Colin had sat down and written and was put forward. And that basically was what got them the gig with How We Live, was that they weren't looking to re-sign a band, or the Europeans particularly, but they were interested in Steve as a solo performer. So they asked if he would be interested, and he said, can I bring Colin along? Because they've been writing together. And Dryland, I think, was probably the best example of that. So in many ways, it's probably the ultimate Hogarth Woore song. And yeah, when I first heard it, you can't help but compare it to that Marillion version. You quite often think, how great would it have been to have not heard the Marillion version first and assess it for what it was. But I still now can't listen to it without thinking, oh, that's slightly different, or he plays it slightly differently to that. The guitar solo, I always thought, felt like it was a bit of a half take. So I love the sound of the guitar that Colin's got in the guitar solo, but it almost felt like he kind of gave up a bit towards the end of the second
well, that's because we're used to Rothers going off, aren't we? And soaring.
Yeah, I think maybe that's it. Yeah,
it's a different style, isn't it?
But no, I love it. I think it's one of the great tracks on the album and a great Hogarth Woore track.
Brilliant. James?
Yeah, I echo those, what people have said. I think I came to it after the Marillion version, so that version's always in my head, and that sumptuous Rothers solo on it. But that opening riff that Colin wrote was great. I think, Tim, wasn't it originally at the Euros called You're an Island? That was the
It is. I've got the cassette
title
here. It says You're an Island on it.
And I would say the Murillo version is the go-to version for me, but I think on the album itself, it's up there. It's one of the good tracks, and I enjoy it when I hear it. I think H has also, obviously the Murillos have played it quite a few times, but H has done it as a solo on his H Natural shows quite a few times as well.
Yeah,
which is another interesting take on it.
Yeah,
brilliant. Okay, track 4, Games in Germany. Another Steve Hogarth solo, right? Lucy.
I have 2 notes. I have put very 80s, but has bones. And then that's my
Has
feeling.
bone.
Has bones.
Okay.
That's me. You know,
Right,
it's got bones. Like if they went back and did it now, you could strip out the very 80s bit of it and make it an up-to-date song. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
And then the other bit was what Ian said before I threw him out the room. He said Games in Germany was on the cassette that he was listening to when he was driving to Pete's house and listening to it. And that's the first time he heard H's voice and said, "This is the voice." So he got to Pete's house with the cassette and said, "This bloke." And it was that song, Games in Germany. He remembered the name of it, which is shocking.
So
Because you've interviewed him many a time and you know he can't remember anything. But he just told me that. And I thought, well, I'm not surprised because H is, well, I mean, on all the tracks on the album, H's voice is phenomenal, quite frankly. But definitely on that song, I said very 80s, but has bones. I'd like to redo it to make it now.
Yeah.
Didn't the band actually possibly look at that during the holidays session as one of the ones that they could have covered? I remember just something talked about. I think I've read that somewhere a long time back. That I don't think it was considered for long, but it was looked at.
I think John Arneson had heard it and thought it would be another good one to maybe do, but whether or not
was it one of the songs in the bucket?
Yes.
Okay. Paul, what do you think?
There's nothing. Sorry, just to add to that, there's nothing in the holiday sessions or even attempting it.
Right. Okay. Paul, what do you make of Games in Germany?
It's worth the admission money, isn't it? It's probably the reason why we're all sitting here discussing this album is because of Games in Germany. It was, as Lucy's quite rightly pointed out, it was the song that was heard on a cassette tape with a photograph of Steve in the envelope. I should point out, thanks, Ian. He was obviously sitting in the car when he was sitting listening to all those various different demos.
Driving.
Driving. It's got a really catchy hook. It's instantaneously when I was invited to become part of this podcast, that's where my mind went instantaneously. I was, I could hear Games in Germany as the hook. I think showcases what a good lyricist he actually is. I thought it was quite a great collection of lyrics in the song, and it kind of it was of its era, it's of its time. You can obviously tell it was written about during the wall and things like that as part of it. Great song, great song.
Seamus.
Like Lucy, I didn't write down very much about this song. The first thing I thought was the future sound of Marillion. You can really hear the sound of the vocals, the way Marillion changed because of H, because of him bringing that little bit extra from his post-punk new wave beginnings. It's an anthemic song, soaring vocals. And I'm looking forward to Tim telling us about the story about the song about a lost friend, apparently, who is it written about a friend of H's who joined the army?
Yes, apparently so. Pugsley, a friend of his up in Doncaster that joined the army to fight the cause and lost his life for it.
Oh, I didn't know that part of it.
Yeah, I think he talked about it on a Corona Diaries not so long ago, hasn't he? Yeah.
Okay, but it's another one of those great songs. I mean, side A is great. It's one powerful song after another, and this is one of them.
Okay.
Another crying song.
Brilliant.
Nice one.
Greg?
It's an absolute banger, isn't it? It really is. It's just absolutely corking, and lyrically it's a good pop song, and lyrically it's like he's talked about earlier about H and do these lyrics. He can write a great pop song, he can write a great pop song with meaning, he can write a great epic, he can write something that's so emotional and fragile. He's when they got him on board, by God, they got somebody and a half, didn't they? And the funny thing, this song, every time I kind of listen to this song, and it's a bit random because I think of somebody like Andy Rotherham, because it's almost a bit like his story, isn't it? Because he went in joining the Air Force and he was in Germany for years and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I guess he wasn't like fighting man in there, but it's just it shows people's lives, and but in a banger of a pop rock song.
Okay.
Love it.
It is good, isn't it? This has got the H moment of the album for me, and that is that very last line of this song. The fragility in his delivery is just amazing.
Yeah, I got that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, and I'd like to see him get it out a bit more at some of the H Natural shows because it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, that is sweet. I'm just reading the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim?
I think it's probably my favourite track on the album. I love it. It seems like so effortless. But I mean, it's obviously a great piano and vocal performance, but you almost kind of take that for granted just because it's so good. But the production around it, I think it's the best produced track on the album. The drums on it are incredible. And apparently they were put on last. So they had recorded the whole thing in the studio, and then Manny from Tears for Fears came in and just thumped the drums along to it.
Wow.
And it came to life. And there's I love the guitar solo. I mean, I was saying about the guitar solo in Dry Land being a bit kind of lackluster. You listen to the guitar solo in Games in Germany, it's basically one note that he just holds onto the note, but it's just so powerful when it comes out of that. And then there's that last chorus where you really hear Steve and Colin's backing vocals.
Yeah.
And they actually took the lead vocal out of that bit and just had the backing vocals. And that I love that bit. It comes out of the guitar solo into that vocal bit at the end. I think it's a masterpiece. I love it.
It's not as bombastic as maybe All the Time in the World, is it? With all the kitchen sink and everything, it's the same emotion, but without all that bombast, I think. James, what do you make of Games in Germany?
It's one of my highlights of the album. I love the way it starts. The sort of the piano, H in the piano to start, and then bang, it's in. I know Working Girl's a good album opener, but this would have been a good album opener as well. Sort of going bang, we're here. Tim, I think this is another one that the Euros started during the last Euro sessions.
Yeah, I'll wait for this cassette one more time. Yeah, Playing Games, it's called. And it's more of an upbeat number. It's very different to the How We Live version. It's got an extra verse and all sorts of things. But yes, it has its origins in the Euros.
Yeah, but no, I think it's a great song, and it'd have been interesting to see how the Murillos would have done it if they'd have tried it for Holidays, because I think it's, as Lou said, it's got bones, and I think they would have really had a good go at the song, because it's a great structure. Everybody's on top. Both H and Colin are playing really, really well on it, and yeah, it's one of my favourites.
Okay.
And as you said, I think H has done it quite a few times during the H Natural gigs over the last few years.
Yeah. Hope he keeps it in the set.
Yeah, definitely.
Lucy, the next track is track 5, India.
It's a big fat nope. Don't like it, but I really love the lyric a lot. And it was interesting to read the lyric again today, because H is always banging on at me to get the band to do a gig in India. And I don't think the rest of the band want to do a gig in India. And so I see now from reading the lyric that he's he's been banging on about it for years with me, but obviously his obsession with India goes very far back. So as I keep saying to him, instead of forcing us to go and do a gig, go on holiday. Then you can visit India. But the actual song, no, I don't like it. Sorry.
Okay. Paul.
I didn't attach myself immediately to the lyric. I did get a bit of a chuckle out of the Jade and Jasmine breathes life into my carbon dioxide lyric, which I'm thinking, India's a big polluter in this world. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Maybe it wasn't then. This was a long time ago, remember?
Yeah, possibly not. But yeah, I kind of thought, but Yeah,
Maybe think
it's got I quite like the tablas and things like that in it, but musically it's interesting, but I'm not. I didn't attach myself so much to the lyric.
Okay.
that lyric made me think whether it was an air freshener in the car.
That's good.
Seamus, what do you make of it?
I thought it was a lovely, nice, gentle end to side A. I thought it kind of was. It suited the end of that side. I love the background music, the percussions. There's a nice jazzy bass sound in it. To be honest, I didn't really. The lyrics didn't soak in at all with me. One of the songs where the lyrics didn't seem to. I didn't appreciate them, but I did appreciate the music. It's
Okay.
nice. It's a harmless, easygoing kind of. You want to sway to it, It's not bad.
Craig, what do you make of it?
It's not a go-to track for me. It's nice and smooth. It's quite lush. It's got some nice keys and bass and that on it. And obviously, like I said, the tablas or is it bongos? It's one of the two. But yeah, I think it's. I think Lucy's quite right. He's definitely got an obsession to go across to the east, hasn't he? Maybe it's
Craig,
an
by
age.
the way, I wrote down bongos as well.
Yeah, yeah. So, how about an H natural trip across there? Then he could
Yeah,
get
well,
himself
yeah, crack on.
get out of his system.
Just go on holiday. Why make it difficult? It's like when I go on holiday, and people go, "Oh, you're going to go and check out the venue for a Marillion gig," and I'm like, "No, that would spoil my holiday. I'm just going for a holiday."
Well, I love this. I think it's beautiful. I think it's really a very different track. I didn't take the lyrics in like Seamus, so I'm just reading through them now. But a girl from India says, "Here is home. She brings me sanity through all the madness I've known. A girl from India has changed my life. She whispers quiet answers she knows to be true in these uncertain times." Nothing wrong with that for me. I think it's great. Tim?
It's the love song on the album, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
in the same way that maybe the record company said we need a single, this one was we need the love song. So maybe it was one that's just a little bit more relaxed compared to some of the more upbeat stuff or full on stuff like Games in Germany with the pounding drums. I think it's a hidden gem, really. I think it's you kind of just let it wash over you. The production is great. Apparently, it's Colin's favourite track on the album. I think you can hear him all over it.
Yeah.
And yeah, the lyrics. Sometimes I think you could read them and think that maybe it might just be a bit cheesy. Some of the juxtapositions of some of those things, which is basically a list of juxtapositions, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which on paper should be a bit cheesy, but I do think it works. I like that. So yeah, I think it's a great closer for the first half. And yeah, a hidden gem in the album, I think.
Yeah. Okay. James?
I'd like it, but I think it's sort of a middling track for me, compared to some of the others on the album. It's nice when it appears, but it's not one that I think is a highlight. It's a nice lush song, but yeah, I think I was listening to some of the earlier versions and the demos earlier, and the demo's about a minute long, but the earlier versions, the lyrics quite different, because H sings "A girl called India."
Ah, right. Okay.
So and then all the Jasmine and the Indian influences obviously came later as part of the lyric, but that was for me, struck me as I was listening to the early demos.
Yeah. There is a credit in the lyric book, Craig, for Francis Fuster, who played the talking drum, aka the bongos to you, mate. All right. Lucy, the next track is track 6, The Rainbow Room.
It's very quick on this one. I've just put yes again.
Okay.
Remember, I hadn't listened to it for a very long time until today, and I was trying to work. But so I've put yes. So That's it. I've literally made no other notes, which
All
means
right.
not
You've
bad,
left-
but it's not great.
No, you've left
John?
some space for us.
John, can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Can we have Lucy on Planet Music? Because then that means that the episodes aren't 2
Yeah,
hours
it would be
friggin'
2
long.
hours. All the Planet Music episodes have been twice as long as the album we're reviewing recently. It's not good.
Right.
No.
No, you'd be helpful.
No, you've left space for other people to say stuff, Lucy. Thank you.
You'll help me crack through stuff.
Paul, what do you think of Rainbow Room?
I'd written down that it's got a very American sort of sound to it. It seems that it was aiming for that market, if you know what I mean. But I think that the lyrics within it also sound like they're probably the closest to the European sound from previous.
Yeah,
that's what I got from
notes,
it.
Yeah,
I got that too.
Yeah. Seamus?
I'm surprised Paul didn't notice the big Simple Minds guitar sound. It's got definitely got a Simple Minds vibe from it.
There's a bit of Charlie Burchill in there, I'm sure.
Yeah. Another thing that really interested me about the song was the glockenspiel in the background. It kind of it reminds me of. Sorry, I'm comparing the songs with other artists.
It reminds me of Daktari, if you're old enough to know what I'm talking about.
It reminded me of In Excess in the swing period. There's a couple of songs on the swing album where they play with glockenspiel or xylophone, and I got that. Another thing I got was, me being a Bowie fan, there's a lovely Berlin period subterranean kind of synth vibe in the background. Bloody love that. And we talked about something else earlier. There's somebody hitting a tin.
Is there?
There's a noise of somebody hitting a tin drum or a can
your
or something.
turntable must be amazing to pick that out, mate. I tell you.
I have a good turntable, yes.
Yes, I know. You've talked about it.
No, there's some really, really lovely sounds in the background. Listen to the synthesizer soundscapes from it. It's really, really nice. Another thing is, you get another one of those 80s guitar saxophone solos, and I like it. I like it in that one. The last word about the song was, it's feckin' great.
Okay.
Really like it.
Great.
It's one of the good ones.
That feckin' great is your version of yes, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a good tune. I did note down that it's very 80s sounding, a bit Europeans-esque. You know, especially the guitar and that. The sax in it then, and I put down, I didn't know it was a glockenspiel or a xylophone, but it had a good sound to it. And yeah, it's a very upbeat song.
Yeah. My notes are very similar to what you guys have put. Very Euros, like some great guitar from Colin. That glockenspiel riff I've put. It's the only track on the album that's not produced by David Lord as well, isn't it? It's produced by Steve, Colin, and Warren Livesey. Is that right?
Warren Livesey, yeah, who was their kind of engineer for Recurring Dreams, and they did a lot of demos with him as well in the Euros.
Was it recorded at a different time then, this track?
Well, I was just looking up in one of the liner notes. This was recorded at Hollywood Studios. So my guess is that it was recorded later, because as far as I'm aware, there weren't any demos of it anywhere or anywhere of them looking through. Is that right, James? So they couldn't see.
Yeah, I've not seen anything. No, it's the one track that doesn't seem to have any early versions, riffs, or anything. It just appears on the album.
I think in my mind, I kind of think it fell out. That they kind of like rang Warren up and just said, "Oh, we've got this song. Can we go and record it?" After they'd recorded all the main bit, because it was produced by Warren, Colin, and Steve themselves separately. So I do think it sounds different to all the other tracks. It's not as polished. It's more rough and ready. But yeah, I like that. I think it has dated a bit. It's probably not my favourite track, which is ironic considering my website was called The Rainbow.
I was going to say, it's a great name for a website, isn't it?
Yeah. But no, it's good, but I'm not sure it really sits. Well, it does sit with the other because it's on the album, but it sounds different to the other tracks, I think.
Okay.
Can I just make an observation? Sorry.
Yeah.
On the back of the album, it's obviously it needs a flag. It's the only one on the back cover that seems to be just a blank sort of flag.
It doesn't have a flag on the other version either.
No.
Reason. Who knows?
It's a white flag.
It's a white flag, yeah.
Just a white flag. It could have been a rainbow flag. That would have been quite nice for it.
Surrender.
Yeah, well, possibly, yeah. There we go.
You two used to wave a white flag around.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
James.
I like it. I think, yeah, it is. It's that gated drum sound that really dates it. But I really like the Collins guitar on it. It's also interesting that H is singing in a really low register. It's the only song on the album where he is really quite low, and that sort of gives me pre-Marillion, some of the things he does then into the Murillos, that he's singing on that low, then goes high, then back down again. So you get that nice range. I always wondered, like, looking at Tim's site and reading the lyrics, I wonder if it was about the Europeans, because talking about being all locked into a room together and releasing the animals, and obviously the Europeans had the animal song, and it just made me think, I wonder if this is his nod back to the previous band.
Clever.
Who knows?
Could well be.
But yeah, no, I really like it, actually. It's a good track.
Okay. Track 7 is Lost at Sea, Lucy.
Ooh, I have a couple of notes here. I really, really like this song. I think it's got a brilliant lyric, but I hate the saxophone in the middle. But then I have a bit of an issue with saxophone solos. They just date shit.
All right.
Sorry if you're listening, Ben Castle. I just haven't. 80s saxophone as well really sounds 80s saxophone. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, I really like the song and I really like the lyric. And it's funny, isn't it? Lost at sea and then dry land. Ocean cloud. H is always
Death and water.
Death and water. Yeah.
Death and water.
Death and water.
I think they paid the sax player, so they wanted to get the money's worth out of him, didn't they?
Yes.
Paul, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I put great lyric, but it's almost, again, it follows that sort of theme that I mentioned, this thematic thing of almost like reaching out to someone, trying to get them to open up and give them something. Yeah, I also put a note here. Has H ever played this at any of the H Naturals? Because it leans itself to doing that. It sounds like something that could be broken out into those.
James is nodding. So
yeah,
really early on, 2000. What I could see, I had a quick look at Setlist FM while I was stuck in a boring meeting. Sorry if anybody from work's listening.
It's your new job, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, going well, yeah.
Yeah. And he did it in 2006 and 2008, but hasn't done it since. But this would be, as one of my things, it would be great to hear in an H natural environment.
Completely agree, James. Yeah. So yep, that's what I've got.
Okay. Seamus?
I thought it was a gorgeous ballad. I love the twangy guitar playing in it. It's got a very 80s saxophone solo, touching on a little bit cheesy, and obviously the most obvious thing is, hey, there's H's fascination with the ocean, with water, with the sea. Yeah, it's a nice song. Not one of the ones I particularly got excited about, not like the previous one, but yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Greg?
Yeah, my first note was it. Look, here we go, water. Here we go. Yeah. What you guys have said, it's very kind of, it's a lot like a slower paced track. Nice, like you got the sax solo and stuff in. Fits the lyrics and the music fit the mood with it. And I had put a note down. It almost feels like a sister song to Working Girl when I was looking at the lyrics on it. But that's probably just me.
Okay. I think this is okay. It's not really a standout for me. It's interesting that this is the only track credited to all 4 of the Euros as writers, isn't it?
Yes.
And it doesn't really sound like the Europeans to me either. So is there a Euros version of this track?
Yeah, James can tell you about that one.
Yeah, there is. It's not massively dissimilar to what the finished version was. I I think because it mainly, from the sounds of the demos and stuff, it's mainly came from H as a piano idea, and they tried to put bits over the top of it and things like that. So yeah, I think they probably helped in the arrangement and the structure of the song, but I think this was an H piano idea to start with.
Right. Sorry, Tim, I didn't give you a chance to say what you think of it.
What do I think of it? I always kind of group this together with the next track, In the City, and because I feel they're both kind of slower, laid back, and a similar kind of feel to them. So I kind of get them kind of mixed up a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a Euro song before, which I only heard fairly recently. But yeah, the vocals are great. Again, effortless. The guitar flourishes are nice from Colin. I've written underplayed by Colin. I think he just get the impression he just went in the studio and just did his thing. And there's some really nice little bits interplay with the vocals. And yeah, in terms of it being the only one that's got all four of them on, I'd imagine something, I don't know quite how that works, but I'm sure something like Dryland and Games in Germany and Working Girl, they'd have all worked on.
Yes.
But obviously those didn't have writing credits for all four of them. But certainly when they split, I don't think it was all that amicable with Europeans. But
your
what I heard,
interview on your website from Ferg is very illuminating.
And it took a long time before they were all talking again, which they are now, which is great. But what was really nice to hear is I'd heard from the Europeans manager at the time as well, Mark Thompson, who various people didn't have particularly kind things to say about, but also I think it was quite a difficult relationship. But he had said because he carried on managing How We Live afterwards. He said what they made sure they did was that How We Lived helped pay off all the debts that the Europeans had. Right. So they had this thing called the apportionment, whereby any monies would go to paying off the gear or paying off any debts that the Euros had. So they honoured that, which I thought was quite a nice move. So maybe the writing credit is part of that.
Okay. I would direct people to Tim's website anyway, but the interviews from the four Europeans are really, really interesting. Yes. James, what do you think of this track?
I really like this, but I like, my favourite version is the piano demo version, because it brings together that lovely vocal, lovely lyric.
Listen, I love you all, but I need to go and watch Celebrity Traitors. So, literally,
Lucy, tell me what you think about In the City.
I'm doing this. In the City, I've put a bit bland. A Beat in the Heart, no, because it's got a saxophone in it. An English Summer, I really hated. And I know I've missed one out, which is Working Town, which I love more than a lot of Marillion songs. I think it is absolutely incredible. And I can listen, I listened to that about 10 times today. I just kept pressing repeat. It is gorgeous. I'm word perfect on it after all these years. So it obviously stuck in my head. Just going to do a little Lucy reading before I go.
Okay.
Sun shines on this working town. Grass grows where the factories stood. Old faces closing down. No work in this working town. Sun shines on this working town. We're resigned to the way things are. No anger, no point anyhow. No work in this working town. I mean, just the lyrics are brilliant. The song is brilliant. Marillion should have covered that. And you can carry on talking about it now, and I'll bid you all good night. It's been absolute pleasure talking to you.
Just let me say thank you to Lucy Jordache.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Lucy.
Thanks, Lucy.
Enjoy yourself,
Lucy.
but celebrity focus is important. If someone
tell me
throw
who's
me
gone.
out,
I'll
I
catch
don't know
up.
how to leave. Bye.
Hi.
Bye.
Right, where were we, boys? Sorry, let's try and pick this back up.
Ironically, it was Lost at Sea was the last song we recorded.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. Track 8 is in.
Hold on. James was in the middle of his.
He was talking about it, wasn't he?
Oh, I think we're done. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Track 8 is In the City. Paul, what do you make of that?
Did anybody else get house vibes from this?
Completely.
Yes.
That's exactly where I was going with the midsection. I kept wanting to sing, looking at it, not seeing it. It's just got that whole thing going on with it. Yeah, it's a great track. It's got that whole sort of like I could imagine sort of neon lights and a bustling city in it. It's a good little song. Yeah, loved it.
Okay, Seamus.
Yeah, that was the exact same thing I got from the song as my mate did. Um, you've got some style council in there. You've got some Sade. You've got some soul to soul kind of groove. So this is them maybe listening to what's actually in the charts around that time, towards the end of the 80s. There's a nice understated trumpet playing in it, and yeah, it's kind of. I got the idea. I got the vibe that H was kind of listening to this music before Massive Attack, because obviously Massive Attack seemed to influence. You could say Massive Attack influenced house, and in the first part of In the City, you've definitely got that same kind of vibe. Good song. There's something about the recording of his vocal spot. Now his H is gone. Maybe it's my turntable again, but at the end of when he's finishing singing a sentence, there's a sound that on his vocal,
like a sibilance.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But other than that, it's great.
All right,
it's a great song. Yeah, love it.
Greg.
I completely got the house vibe on it completely.
Yeah.
And lyrically it is a really good H lyric. And not just musically, it's lyrically it's almost like a prequel to House. But yeah, it's a very interesting track. And yeah, I think it's probably the bass and the trumpet and stuff that gives you the proper House vibe with it. But yeah, it's a good tune.
I love House, and I don't get House from this at all. But it is, my notes say white reggae intro, which it is, and it soon changes into a more urgent big chorus with piano, and like Seamus had mentioned, the solo trumpet as well. It's okay. It doesn't, it's not a patch on some of the other songs on this album for me. He's done it better elsewhere for me, probably on House, if I'm honest. Tim?
When I listened to it again in the last couple of days, it reminded me a lot of Synchronicity, the Police. So
it's that white reggae thing.
Yeah, that kind of T and Sahara wrapped around your finger type of groove, which I really like. I love Colin's harmonics that he plays on it, either side of Steve singing. Again, it's one of those ones because it's later on in the album. It's quite easy to just miss how good it is. But I think it's great. I love it.
Okay, James.
Yeah, it's a good track for me. It's not up there, but I like it. Things people said, the muted trumpet, that's very good. I love the bass on it as well. I think it came from what I've heard, is sort of a piano idea and built up from there. I'm just looking at my notes, and the sort of piano. Then I guess it must have been Colin put the bass riff on quite early. But there was a part in the demo that didn't hit the album version, which I really liked. Was like a descending synth sort of motif towards the end of the album, which never hit, towards the end of the song, which never hit the album version, which was a shame. But it's all right. No, I quite enjoyed it.
Okay. Track 9 is Working Town, and Paul, coming to you.
Yeah. That's a great song. I think it's, not to bring politics into it too much, but I think it kind of represents that sort of what was happening around sort of mining towns and what was going on around those. I came from a mining town in Coatbridge in Scotland and then moved to another mining town called Blantyre. And it's, they had that similar vibe about them, and that late 80s sort of feel to what was going on at that time. He's captured that really well, that people were more very community based and trying to support each other through what was really a difficult time at that period. So yeah, it's a great song. I was, as I say, was fortunate enough to see it played live around the point of them releasing the remaster at Dingwalls, and I thought it was just a great song.
The Body and Spirit gigs were great, weren't they?
Yeah,
the year before, it was 2000.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Seamus.
It's about Doncaster, isn't it?
Well, I think so. I'm reading that, but
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so.
so.
Yeah.
Have
Gorgeous.
you been to Doncaster, Seamus?
No, I haven't.
My good lady's from Doncaster.
Yeah. To be honest, I've only been in Northumberland up there. I've relations from Alnwick up that end of the
Beautiful
country.
part of the world.
I'm not
Beautiful.
recommending Doncaster, but
Okay. Haven't, not yet. Not yet. I say the gorgeous vocal, gentle guitars, and keyboard sound. Little bit crowded house, maybe, and it's probably my favorite song on side two, if not one of the best songs on the album.
Yeah.
You should all check out the Green and the Grey song from New Model Army. Similar tone, similar topic. It's about mining towns, about the north of England and everything falling apart towards the end of the 80s with Margaret Thatcher and the strikes and people leaving. Like, I'm one of these people who left. I left my home as well. So it's a lovely song. I understand why Lucy appreciates it so much. It is a highlight, definitely.
Okay. Craig?
Should have been the last song on the album.
All right.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
I think, yeah, it could have worked as an album closer.
Yeah.
But it's one of those early autobiographical lyrics by H, and the observation of change. I think it's also the fact of it could be the way that it was written that because he left quite young to go off and around the world, become a rock star, and coming back to see parents and things like that. So he saw the changes in where he grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And like Lucy said as well about the politics and things and stuff of it. And I think it is good that he still plays this now, as part of the H Natural stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely one of the strongest songs on the album.
Yeah. I agree with everything you've all said. I mean, I think this is the best track on the album for me. I think it benefits from a slightly simpler arrangement than some of the other tracks. It gives it that space, but I've got to mention the fretless bass again on this track is just wonderful. It really is. And some of H's imagery, another belly full of men for the mine. Great line. Great line.
Great line.
Yeah, it's great song, and I hope he keeps this one in the H Natural set. Tim.
And it was played at a lot of those early H Natural stuff. So he mixed the set up quite a bit. But those very early ones, it was always in the set and it always went down well because it works well as a stripped back number. There's not actually a lot to it. It's basically vocals, guitar, and that lovely fretless bass and a bit of a keyboard line. And that's why it works so well in those H Natural shows. And yeah, I love the autobiographical nature of it. I think that's why it makes it so special as well. It's heartfelt and you believe it. And I always thought I felt like it was like the younger brother of this Strange Engine. Just he's talking about his childhood and those memories of that. And I would see those two as kind of hand in hand a bit.
I think there's a lot of songs on this album which are linked to later songs, just thematically, and just that they are the embryonic versions of songs that are to come and are just follow-ups. There's songs that are following up stuff that starts here. And I think this is why, as a Marillion fan, it's almost an essential listen because there's so many germs in this.
There's lyrical threads all the way through.
Yeah.
James, what do you make of it?
I see this one as the ancestor to Born to Run.
Yeah.
Because it's similar, with this one, Working Town, the sun shines on the Working Town. Obviously, Born to Run is that depressive side, and as you're saying, Seamus, the sort of Maggie Thatcher influences and things like that. Not to get political, but I think this is for me the strongest on the album. I think it is brilliant, and I agree. This should have been the album closer. I can just see this sort of because one of the things I really love about this is the harmonies on the chorus. That sort of sun shines on the Working Town, da 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 da. That sort of fading out on the end of the album would have been brilliant rather than the next track, which we'll talk about in a minute. But again, this one, and Tim will probably flash a cassette at us, but this is another one that was started at the end of the Euros, that was around then, and I think early 85, which is the basic song with the synth lines and the bass was there, and then fleshed out. And you said, yeah, sort of H. I think the last time we played it on H Natural was 23. I think I found 2023. But I'd love to hear. I haven't heard it live on the H Naturals, and I really would love to hear him do it.
In that early demo, James, was it more of a band effort, like a Euros sort of like, or was it still as stripped back as what it sounds now?
Still, I don't know if you've listened to it recently, Tim, but it was still quite sparse.
Yeah,
I don't think there was. Sorry,
I think if I remember, I don't think it was a Euros one. I think it was a very early How We Live one. It wasn't in any of the ones that I had, but I think there was like a rehearsal version of it quite early on that did have drums on. So it was a more kind of upbeat number. But I could be wrong, but I don't think it was a Euros one.
Oh, maybe I've got that one wrong. I was getting mixed up with Working Town and Working Girl, I think, on my notes. But yeah, no, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous song.
Okay. Takes us to the last track on the main album, A Beat in the Heart. Paul, what do you make of this?
Yeah, I think there's lots of influences in here. I could hear ABC in there. There was bits of there's even bits of Fine Young Cannibals. Yeah, it's I think it's a little bit overcooked in the ending of it. That's the thing I made a note of. But it's of its time, is what I think. Yeah,
I've written that there's a wig out sax solo on it.
If I could have found the words, that would have been what I'd put.
I've mentioned the sax.
Words in your mouth there, yeah.
Yeah, I've
We've got
mentioned
20
the sax
quid
as well.
from the sax player. What are we going to
do?
Just play every note.
Okay, Seamus, what do you make of it?
Okay, where do we start?
Oh,
It starts great. I'm talking about the first few seconds. I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. And then it just flops down. It just keeps on falling down. It just keeps on collapsing. It's a terrible song. There's just one sax solo too many. It's very cliched. I just think it's weak. It shouldn't have been on the album, in my honest opinion. It's the one song I don't like.
okay.
Sorry. I'll be honest.
Yeah, my note's quite similar to Seamus there. It's got a big opening that it doesn't really take advantage of.
Yeah.
It seems to be a bit all over the place for me. I mean, it's a bit bass driven, lots of jangly guitars, lots of sax, very 80s. And I think Tim, you mentioned it earlier on that it is this and one of the other songs is what you felt was some of the weaker songs on the album.
Yeah.
And I'm with you with this one. I'm definitely with you with this one. It's possibly my least favorite song on the album, and it doesn't feel like an album closer. But to be fair, there's a lot of artists in the 80s didn't do what we now expect to be like. This is an album opener, this is an album closer, and everything in between could be moved around.
Yeah,
this just doesn't particularly do it for me. But I think what you guys have said, Working Town would have made a good album closer thematically, not necessarily musically, because it'd be a bit downbeat. But yeah.
Okay. I don't have as big a problem with it as you guys seem to have. It's very 80s sounding. It's, I think Craig has just said, it's a typical album ending track of that sort of era. It's all right. It's okay. Rolling bass and drums. It's up tempo. As I've already said, it was a wig out sax solo. If you're feeling that you haven't had enough sax, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Tim.
I don't think it's dated particularly well compared to a lot of the other stuff. No. It does sound very 80s, and I like a lot of 80s stuff, but that one's like the not so good sound of the 80s.
Yeah,
and I think it's the sister of All the Time in the World, and I don't think it's quite as good. But it shows off the interplay of the band and how well the band played. You got the idea it was probably pretty much recorded live, and they were just playing off each other. It was probably a great live number. Apart from that one clip of Working Girl, I've not heard any whole live How We Live gigs. I'd love to hear some of those. I know Colin's got some, that I'd love to hear. But yeah, I think I agree with everyone here. I think it's probably the weakest song on the album. It's a shame that that's the closer. But yeah, it's not my favourite of all of them. The only kind of redeeming part is I love the sound of Steve's Yamaha piano. So that's CP70 or CP80. It's like a baby portable piano. A friend of mine had one as well, and it was just the most beautiful thing. You could play anything on it. It sounded great. And I was only reading in the esoteric reissue as well, is that they popped up to Rockfield to record some piano sounds up there, which I'd forgotten about, on the Bohemian Rhapsody piano. So Bohemian Rhapsody was recorded up at Rockfield, and they've got the grand piano up there. So they must have just nipped up there, because that's where Recurring Dreams was recorded mainly, to do some overdubs on it. But yeah, if the one redeeming thing is the piano sound, then yeah, you can. It's not my favourite of all the tracks, but it's still a good How We Live track, isn't it? It's just not nearly as good.
It's of the era, isn't it?
It's been spoilt by all the other tracks.
It's of its time, is what I put. Yeah.
James,
I called it 80s dribble. Sorry.
That's CP7080, I think, appears on Marillion albums up to about Afraid of Sunlight, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's an aside. Weakest track for me. It's sort of it's okay. But I think, as we said, I wouldn't have had it at the album closer. But maybe it was that an English Summer. Maybe
we're going to talk about English Summer in a minute. So if you thought that was bad, you wait till you get to English Summer, yeah.
But no, weakest track on the album for me.
Okay. Well, there are 4 tracks that have been released officially, 2 on each of the reissues. So let's deal with the 2 that we know from a Marillion standpoint. You Don't Need Anyone is the first one. Paul.
Yep. Should have been on the album, I think. I just, it's got that great sort of pop vibe to it, and I think it was, despite what H has said about it earlier, and I know he's gone now, so it's fine. But I just thought I still love listening to it. I actually think it's a really good song. I get there's certain elements from it. I still think there's something like Blue Nile about it. I don't know why, but I think it might just be the keyboards or the underlying. But yeah, it's just a great song.
Okay, Seamus?
Don't know it. I've only got the LP.
Okay,
sorry,
no problem. Moving on then.
Hold on, Seamus. Have you heard? Well, I'll double back a bit. Have you not heard it on the Holidays in Eden reissue? The Marillion cover version of it. Oh, you've not heard it.
Not on vinyl, Craig.
You're
talking to the wrong man.
Okay.
Doesn't do them shiny things.
On disc.
I got 2 today.
I'll send you it.
I know, mate. I know. We'll send you it.
I'll send you it, mate.
Great.
It's an absolute banger of a pop song, and we loved it. I loved the Marillion version on Holidays in Eden bonus. I loved it when Marillion played it live at PZ back in 2007. The version, this demo version, lyrics are a little bit different.
Yeah.
But it is a banger of a pop song, and I think if this had been tweaked a bit and done like a single edit version of it and released as this probably had more of a chance of being a hit single than the other ones that they actually chose, because it's a lot more straightforward. It's catchy as hell.
I agree with that, Craig. Yeah.
I think this was, just to say, this was recorded probably about a year and a half after Dryland was out.
Yeah,
this
I would say that was my question.
Yeah.
Where is it on the timeline?
Yeah, this is one of the last batch of songs I think H and Colin properly recorded, if I'm right, Tim.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
I always used to say it was 88, but I think it's 87 because they'd probably finished recording Dryland late 86, maybe. But yes, those 2 were recorded with the idea of it being like either double A side or an A and a B. So with Simon's car.
So what do you think of You Don't Need Anyone, Tim?
Tears for Fears is what always comes to me, because there's I mean, I had this quite a few years before it came out on the reissue, but I only had the 12-inch version, which had been made available on the Marillion website on the fan club area. So you could download them if you're a web member. There were 12-inch remixes of them both. So I'd lived with them for a little bit. So when I actually heard the single version, it was quite nice to hear it as a concise 3-minute number.
Yeah.
But obviously, like those classic 12-inch 80s remixes, it brings up various parts that you don't really know because they're underneath the vocals. And there's a bit in it that just sounds so much like Everybody Wants to Rule the World. And that tied up with some of those early press shots for How We Live, with a pop duo of two pretty boys.
Yeah.
It looked just like Kurt and Roland, and I always thought this was kind of their nod to Tears for Fears, maybe, and a bit more. It's definitely got that rhythm of Everybody.
Yeah, it does.
World.
It's slightly faster, but yeah.
And I knew it from the Holidays in Eden. It was on. I think it was mentioned at the time, wasn't it, in the fan club magazines, and then it was finally released on that first Holidays in Eden remaster in 98 or something like that. So it was great to hear that. And then there was an interview at the time where Steve had said, "Oh, it was an old How We Live song we never recorded, or never really recorded." So when it actually came up that they had actually properly recorded it and it was a full song, it was great to hear that. Again, maybe it was like Steve said earlier, it's like write as a single, and they did.
Yeah.
No, they didn't really like it, I don't think.
Okay, James.
I like it. I think it's a good lyric. It's a good song. I like the Murillo version a little bit better. It was good. I think when they released the Moles demo and then the sort of live version from the Moles Club and the version they did in 2007. I can see why it was sort of aligned with a bit of Holidays because it is pop-y and stuff. But no, I think it's a good track.
Yeah. Okay. Paul, the other track on the Racket reissue is Simon's Car.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about that? I mean, obviously, elements of that were pilfered for Cover My Eyes.
They were. I mean, I've actually put here, it's a bit of a hard listen. It's just because, I mean, I think it's got that sort of, like, it's been broken down. It's got that hard driving piano, which kind of, the lyrics, the lyrical content, I think suits Cover My Eyes better as it became later. But yeah, it's. I'm glad that they appeared elsewhere. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Greg?
The first note I've put on is Volvo P180, which is Simon's car. So that's basically the reference from Simon Templar. Because the song,
you looked that up. You looked that up.
I knew what it was about. I just didn't know what Simon's
I know what it's
car
about,
was.
but I didn't look it up.
I looked it up. Yeah. So
yeah,
because you've got a load of like iconography in it. You love you more than Mrs. Peel. So there you've got your Avengers bit.
I've got a great. I actually misheard that and thought they talk about EastEnders. Is it Mrs. Beale?
But yeah, I mean, it is like the baby brother of what was going to be Cover My Eyes. You've got half the lyrics in there, haven't you?
Yeah.
And it works. It works as Simon's car as well as it working as Holiday as Cover My Eyes. I mean, I prefer Cover My Eyes, but there's a charm to this song. There's a definite charm, and like Paul was saying, the piano riff on it is good. And yeah, it's an interesting what could have been.
Yeah, I like it. I can listen to it without it bothering me. The Cover My Eyes reference, and it is different enough. I think it's a list song again, though, isn't it? As you've said, Craig. I'm just trying to see if there are any lyrics in it. Oh yeah, there it is. I love you more than Mrs. Peel. I love you more than Simon's car. I love you more than Andy's flowers, or Dusty's eyes, or Lou's guitar.
It was 60s iconography, isn't
it? Yeah, great. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Tim?
Yeah, I love of those two extra songs. So I love Simon's Car. And yes, it's a bit of a mind blow, isn't it, when you first hear it, with those lyrics transplanted. But the guitar on it's great. It's a real crunchy 80s chuggy guitar sound. The drums are like the snare sound on it is brilliant. It's like a proper thwack on the snare. So it's got that really great production on it. And the funny thing about the production is that was recorded by a guy called Gavin McKillop, who was an old friend of the Europeans up in Scotland, who went on to produce "I'll Be There For You" by the Rembrandts. That was the Friends theme tune.
Okay.
So there's your tenuous Marillion Friends link.
There you go.
But I love the 12-inch remix of it as well. That's my favourite version of it. That's about 6-7 minutes long. And there's great sound samples in it and some breakdowns and drop downs. The drums are brought to the forefront again. But yeah, it was a real shame those didn't come out at the time. It's great that they were on that Racket reissue. It's a shame that they then didn't make it onto the Esoteric reissue, which was a bit weird. But no, Simon's Car, yeah, love it.
I'm assuming that those demos came via H and weren't part of the Sony licensing.
Perhaps, yeah, I don't know.
Which is probably why they're not on the Esoteric, because they'll have licensed it from Sony.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
James?
the same. I really like it. I like the sort of walking blues guitar on it. Sorry, the walking bluey sort of keyboard, piano.
Yeah.
The guitar, the drums. I like the 12-inch mix. As everybody sort of said, I can, like you, John, I can listen to it separately from Cover My Eyes. I think it's really good that we got to hear it.
Yeah, definitely. So from that, we go to the tracks on the Esoteric reissue, and the first bonus track is a B-side called English Summer. Paul, have you heard that?
I haven't, I'm afraid. I was looking at the
Oh, good man.
Yeah.
Craig's heard that.
Yeah. I've put pants down.
Oh, sorry, Lucy's writing your notes for you, is she?
Yeah, it's like it's got a bit of like reggae feeling parts and stuff like that, a bit of steel drums and stuff on it, and it is just, I like B-sides generally, but this is just, it's not for me. No. Move along home.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's that good, is it? It's really not good.
It's really not. It's a Caribbean sounding chorus. I put steel drums as well, exclamation mark. It's very lightweight. It's it's not a patch on everything that's on the album for me.
Is it How We Live's Hope for the Future?
It is. Yes, it is.
One of my notes, I've got echoes of hope for the future.
There's the quote. There's the quote for the episode.
Which we all love.
Moving on, Seamus.
Especially the remix.
Tim, you got anything else to say on it?
Me?
Yeah, Tim.
Sorry.
I think it's throwaway. But it's B-side stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's obviously had something that they thought, let's do it. It wouldn't have fitted on the album, would it?
No.
It would. I'm glad they didn't put that on instead of Beating the Heart or something like that. But it just brings forward the whole thing about, so it was only available on the 12-inch of the Working Girl 12-inch single. And that was the only place to get it. So it always just brings back the halcyon days of record collecting, where before the YouTube generation, where everything's just available at the touch of a button. I spent years looking for that, and remember finding it at a record fair when I was at university, and finding a lost How We Live track, and that was the only place to have it. So I'm glad that it was put on the reissue, which I'm guessing is just a vinyl needle drop, but I'm not quite sure.
The whole thing's the Esoteric's been remastered. The whole thing.
Yeah, maybe it was the original master tapes then for that. But no, it's throwaway, isn't it? It's not their finest work, but it's fun. It's a bit of fun.
Yeah, James.
Yeah, it's a throwaway, bit of a catchy chorus for me. It's got echoes of 80s Sting in it. At points.
Yeah.
That's
not the better bits, but yeah.
No, not the better bits, but yeah, it just feels that sort of that feeling of Sting, and as we said, there's echoes of hope for the future.
Yeah.
And I think enough said.
Okay. Well, the other track is the extended remix of "You Don't Need Anyone," which I think we've kind of covered. But Craig, do you like this?
It was the remix of "All the Time in the World."
All the time.
Sorry, all the time in the world. Sorry, it was me misreading my notes. All the time in the world. Sorry, Craig. What do you think of this?
Meh.
Okay, moving on. Tim.
Well, as discussed before, if you don't really like the song, then you're probably not really going to like the 12-inch version so much.
No.
But
I don't think it really gives anything extra to it. I mean, that's
no,
yeah,
No.
it might show the
a
backing
bit more
vocals a
clean,
bit.
yeah. But yeah, but
But there's
it
some
doesn't.
cracking Europeans 12-inch remixes. The AEIOU 12-inch remix is just bonkers, but it's brilliant. And the Recognition one and the Animal Song ones are really good.
Yeah.
So you'd expect a bit more, but no, it's again, I'm glad they put it on it for us completists. But yeah, I don't think it really adds much.
James?
Overstays its welcome. Enough said.
All right. What a way to finish.
I was going to mention, if you want to, I was having a listen to some of the other bits of some of the other songs that were knocking around at the time.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
That have lyrical threads to the future.
Okay.
Because there was a few songs, and Tim, please jump in as well. There was a few songs sort of knocking around at the time when they were writing Dryland. There was a song called, like, there's one that I think it's called Grow Up, and one called Freedom. But the most interesting one from that period is a song called, what was started off called Promises, which then became We Don't Need to Be Lovers. And I thought it was quite a good song, but never got really past the demo stage. But the lyric of that, or part of the lyric of that, H has tried to use so often, is one of these we were talking about not so long ago about the sounds that can't be made and the power lyric. This one, I think, almost outlives that one, because H has tried to use it in so many different Marillion sessions to try to get it on. And during Marbles, it was almost an idea. If you've ever seen on the web, you read something called The Square. This is from that lyric, that we don't need to be lovers, and ended up as part, and if I get the right song, it ends up as part in Say the Word.
All right.
That's how long it lasts. It's that 1,000 people in the square today pushing past, etc., etc. And that we don't need to be loved. That's come from that lyric.
Wow.
So that was interesting. And then afterwards, after they released Dryland, when they were looking to try and, as H mentioned, were trying to write songs and go to the record company and go, what about this? What about this? And they were putting down. There was a song called At the End of the Day, which it was a very upbeat song. Didn't have a lot of lyrics, but At the End of the Day was then used in the release.
I was just going to say the release lyrics, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's also a song called, that started off to The Girl in the Photograph, that then got turned to This Girl, which then got turned to This Town, and was the lyrics for This Town. So and some of the vocal melodies that was in This Town appear in this version. So that was sort of being written, demoed 87, 88. And obviously the last one, which we touched on, was obviously Easter.
Wow. And we'd all love to hear all of those.
I haven't heard the Easter version. Tim's heard it, because that was one of the things that we were trying to find for the Season's End remaster. And there was a tape in the attic racket that said Easter on it. And I thought, absolutely fantastic. Found it great. Played everything, and everything was on it bar that.
Oh.
But I think, as Tim will say, only Colin's got a version of it.
Yeah, so I haven't got a copy of it, but 20 odd years ago, when I was in better touch with a lot of the Europeans, Colin, who lives in New York most of the time, was over visiting somebody over in Suffolk, not far from me. And he said, I'm going to pop by on the way through and catch up. So he came round my house, or my flat that I was living in at the time, and we sat and had a chat for a couple of hours. And he said, I've brought a couple of cassettes if you want to listen to them. And of course, I didn't have like a cassette player in the front room. So I ended up like bringing my stereo through to the front room and him helping bring the speakers through, because I wasn't going to play in my pokey little bedroom. And he put on the Easter demo, and I always remember that. And also it had a fuller version of At the End of the Day on, so the release. So more of a song. So that's something else that's missing from the archives. But I know Colin has quite a collection, and I think he's the only one of all the other Europeans that I haven't pilfered their collections. But yes, he definitely has a copy, and we must try and track that down and get that out somewhere.
I mean,
H
the album
H
does
doesn't have a
deserve.
copy.
No.
Yeah, the album does deserve a deluxe, like what's happened, because
Yes.
there's so much material around that it would be a shame not to, really, especially for completists. And I think people would get something out of the album with a remix and everything like that. It'd be interesting to see what like a 2026 remix of the album would be. How it would actually, would it try to modernize the sound a little bit, or what? I'd be really interested to hear it.
Yeah, it'd be good to, as Tim's alluded to, if Colin's got some live stuff, put that on there, and so really flesh it out.
So I think I mentioned on the website somewhere, Colin said he's got a live tape from, is it Belfast maybe, when they played there, and they play a song called "Sunshine's in Your Eyes" that I've never heard, or "Sunshine" that I've never heard, but was a new track that they played at the time. So that's another Lost How We Live track. So yeah, it's the same story with all the Euro stuff, isn't it? There's just so many extra tracks that have never been released that you could easily do a 3-4 CD set.
Well, that's it. I would love to see something like Esoteric do like a 3-disc box of the Euros with the 3 albums and the non-album singles on there.
Yeah,
just tied up in a nice box. That would be great.
I mean, you've got so much there from pre-Europeans, a motion picture from, Tim shared with me, and we found all the way up to the end. I mean, I think you could proper do a real nice super deluxe collection of all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think they want it to be out there as well because they're proud of it all. Yeah, there's some corkers in there that I want everybody to hear.
But in the meantime, if you've not heard the How We Live album, it's not on streaming. So you need a mate who's got it, or you need to get on Discogs or eBay and pick up a copy, because it's highly, highly recommended, isn't it, guys?
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
That's a good way to end this episode. Thank you very much for listening. If you're still with us, it's been another marathon episode. I'd like to thank Lucy Jordache,
who's disappeared to watch Celebrity Traitors.
I left a space for you to edit that in where she said
no.
All right, then.
We'll out her as an escapee.
It's going to be warts and all, boys, this one, isn't it? I'd like to thank Paul McMillan.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Paul, and thank you, Seamus Colgan.
A pleasure as always.
Thank you. Thank you, James Levey.
Pleasure as always, gents.
Thanks, James. Thank you, Tim Glasswell.
Thank you. I enjoyed that.
Good. Wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be, was it?
Not nearly as bad as I thought. No.
And listen out, because we are doing a special episode coming up with Tim where we go through all old school stuff for the Europeans and talk about how we live again a little bit, and go through everything about the Rainbow Room's website.
Well, I was just going to say, Tim's website again is the Rainbow Room, and just Google the Rainbow Room Europeans and it will take you to there. And there is lots and lots of stuff on there. It's really interesting.
27 years that's been going.
And it's brilliant, mate. It really is. There's some great stuff on there. And all that remains to be said is thank you to my other half, Craig.
Well, thank you. It's been an entertaining one, hasn't it?
It's been a good one, hasn't it? Yes. It's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Take care.
Who wants to do it?
And stay alive.
Yay!
Thanks for listening to Planet Marzipan Podcast. Please like and subscribe from whichever platform you get your podcasts from. You can contact us at planetmarzipanpodcast@gmail.com and check out marillion.com, fishmusic.scot,